Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey. A couple weeks back, we took a trip up to Covington, Kentucky to visit Brad Bonds and the gang at Revival Vintage Spirits. And of course, we had to do some shopping and browsing. And while we were there, there was a bottle that was in a glass case that I looked at, and Brad showed it to me. It was next to a 1957 Old Forester bottle, which is the classic retro style bottle. And anyway, he had told me the price of that, and I'm like, I can't afford it. I'd love to, but anyway. Then he had this one here, and he mentioned what the cost was, and I was like, I'm not a big OFO guy.
And it had some evaporation.
And it had some evaporation, of course, which led to a discount on the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked back up to where we were doing our vintage tastings and told Rebecca about it. She walked back and came back with a response I was not expecting. I think we need to get it. All right. So I made a counter offer to Brad that he took, and we ended up buying several other bottles that day. So we decided to bring back this vintage bottle. We both love the look. We cracked it open that day at Brad's. As a matter of fact,
did.
He videotaped it for the shop. I think he's posted it since.
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube.
So anyway, Rebecca, talk a little bit about this bottle, and we'll be kind of doing a quasi bottle comparison today with it, because it is a bottle and bond. So anyway, Rebecca, go over the specs of what you have been able to find out about this gem.
Yeah, it's always hard to get specific details, but with a little detective work, you can kind of figure out some things, as well as Brad had estimated it to be about a 1955. So that kind of started the research process. So we're estimating, as well as Brad, that this is a 1955 Old Forester Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey that is a bottle and bond. Interestingly, embossed on the label, in addition to being a bottle and bond, is America's Guest Whiskey. I looked and looked and couldn't find much about that, except it was their catchphrase for many years. The decanter itself was manufactured in 1954 by the Owens, Illinois Glass Company. So as we looked into what might be the differences between 1955 and 2025, 70 years difference, we expect to find some old bottle effect on the 70-year-old bottle, and probably the oak is a little more mellow and maybe some complex fruit notes. Whereas our current bottle and bond is probably gonna be a little bit more vibrant, fresher tasting, and a little bit more robust. They should probably both have the classic Old Forester profile, although the hints are that common banana note that so many people get on Old Forester probably is not present in the older one because it's mellowed over time and probably gone away a bit. So this was also a bottle that was, I showed you the pictures as well, that was able to be personalized. And this one was a holiday greetings from the Scully brothers. So that was pretty cool. I'd hoped to find an advertisement regarding, hey, come buy our bottle, it can be personalized, but there were no ads to be found. So that was kind of a bummer, but it's still an amazingly cool bottle, and it's from 1955. So finally, we're drinking something older than me.
It's kind of a bummer that there wasn't more info out there. When we came back, I immediately went on eBay, and I was just curious if anybody was selling an empty bottle of this, and we found one. And the labeling on the back was from some other personal event. So obviously there was something going on to where you could get these and personalize the label.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I did find that pretty much the mash bill has been consistent. So
Okay.
There's probably been no change in the mash bill. There's also been no change in their yeast strain. So all of that's probably very consistent. As we've discussed previously in other Sipping on History videos, the main thing that changes in 70 years is perhaps the water source, or how the trees were aged, or how old the trees were that went to make the barrels. And of course, today they've refined distilling processes a little bit more to get efficient. So some of those have, the technology in itself has possibly changed, but we can only make assumptions on that because it has been, things are just a little different today than they were back in 1955.
We're talking the 50s here, and this would have been very hands-on. They'd had to really keep an eye on things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm ready to kind of take a look at this one and start tasting it.
Absolutely.
Enough talking.
Absolutely. That's what my wife says to me a lot.
A lot. Just kidding.
Nice.
They're kind of similar in color, which is kind of expected. It's not like it's going to keep aging in the oak if it's in a bottle. So, but I did notice when I poured it that it did have a lot of legs on this more vintage one.
Yes.
It's slightly cloudy, but not super clouded. That does also happen when something's a little bit older. It's been sitting around, but it's not. You can see if we compare them in the light, the new one is much clearer. There's a more reddish tone to the older one than there is with the newer one. But let's check out the nose.
Okay.
Definitely get what we call that dusty funk.
You do, and I do get a little banana.
So that's really funny.
And
he will find banana anywhere because he doesn't like it. Kind of like me finding coconut.
I can't stand it. Now, when we initially tasted it at Brad's, I was getting other things, and I really didn't get the banana, but I'm immediately getting it now.
I can see where you're getting the hints of that. It's not as strong for me,
Oh, yeah.
but it's not something I dislike, so I'm not thrown by it, so to speak.
I think there's a little maybe brown sugar. You definitely get, like you said, the dusty funk.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying it.
Well,
Again,
cheers to sipping on some 1955 history.
cheers.
It's got a real oak presence for me.
There's a lot of oak with it.
And again, the bottle doesn't age it in a barrel. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of oak. Very surprising that there's that much oak. Fortunately for somebody like myself, I dig that. So I really like that. I don't pick up any banana on it.
That sip, I got a hint of citrus. Almost like a lemon note.
Okay, I can buy that. Like the zest.
Yeah, zesty lemon, because it's not super sour. It's more zesty, almost a hint of bitter lemon zest. Not in a bad way. It's just that was a little complexity I did not recall when we had it in store, nor did I taste it on the first sip. But again, your palate kind of has to acclimate a little bit, especially when drinking a dusty. I think you have to let it settle. So I did pick that up a bit. I'm not getting the banana note, but that's okay. I don't always get the banana note in Old Fortune like Wayne does. So
I'm not getting it this time. There's a baking spice in it that I'm picking up. It may be cinnamon for me. And the zest that you're talking about is, I would agree. I probably wouldn't have thought about that because my mind initially was going toward cinnamon.
yeah, and for me, the baking spice, because it's not very spicy, it's kind of subtle. And it's a little bit savory. So I'm leaning a little more towards allspice. Which has a combination of spices to it, but it's not sweet enough for nutmeg for me. And the savory notes is making me lean toward allspice.
And it just makes me wonder, because this is 1955, so the chances are this has to go back to at least 51 or 50.
A bottle and bond, so it has to be at least 4 years old.
So if it's a 55, it would have been 1951 that it had originally been put in the barrel, and which makes it definitely, this is the oldest bourbon I think that we've tried, maybe.
I think it is, but the other thing, as I was reading, they talked about, even though bottle and bond is 4 years, a lot of time during that time, everything was kind of getting going again. Still after Prohibition, there wasn't a big heyday, so it was not uncommon for bottle and bonds to maybe be 6 years old.
Okay.
So we don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying that was kind of one of the historical references that I found. So it's very possible this was maybe 6 years old. And we know that certain places, I know Maker's Mark often does things that are older than what their age statement, being Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey states. But we just know it has to be at least 4 years old and has to be 100 proof because it's a bottle and bond.
I will say this was a bottle that when it was acquired, it had been laying on its side. Some of it had seeped out. And the thing that actually saved this bottle, and Rebecca had close pictures of it, it was actually attached with a ribbon. And Brad, when he opened it at the store, had to use like a knife I think
It was a pocket knife.
a pocket knife to cut the ribbon. And
it was
actually,
really hard to get it open.
yes, so it's the one thing that even though it leaked out, it still saved the integrity of it because it kept it from really oxidizing.
Yeah, but I mean, the cork just comes, I mean, it's like, boom, it just does this. So it did not have a great seal, but again, it was on there because of the ribbon. It didn't pop off.
Yeah.
And so it was saved all these years.
Yeah.
But that's how some leakage occurred because this wasn't super tight. You know, we've talked before about so often when we open a bottle, the cork breaks. And we're like, okay, that means it hasn't had any air in it. This one probably got a little bit of air, but I don't think it's bothered it in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, and if, based on talking to Brad, if this had been all the way full, it would have been $1,200, and we wouldn't have discussed it at that point.
And even today, just after I poured 1 ounce for each of us. The bottle is to here if you can't see it on the camera, but it's about halfway. So we had very small pours. We shared with Brad and someone else, Matt, that was sitting at the bar with us.
Yeah.
So the 4 of us had probably a ½ ounce pour that day. And then today we're having a 1 ounce pour.
Yes.
So that shows you how much had been leaked out of the bottle.
Yeah. And I'm honestly, I'm very happy that she wanted it because this is enough that this is going to last us probably the rest of our life. Who knows? Probably your son Trevor will end up selling it back to Brad, and such. But I think this is enough to where we can appreciate it, and it was a price that we felt comfortable doing for a very classic bottle.
Yeah, and we are going to need to decant it into something else because even if you put parafilm over this, it's not going to seal it great. And this bottle rocks a little bit, so I would be very concerned about having it up on a shelf that you might bump into. So we will. I just didn't want to do it until we had done the video, but we will probably have to decant it into another bottle.
Yeah,
to ensure we can drink it longer and enjoy it. We'll keep that way. The bottle will stay good, and the spirit will stay even better.
Yes,
so.
and then we'll retire the bottle probably to the shelf behind us because
Yeah.
we cleaned it up a little bit. I think once again, this is a 70-year-old bottle. It's held up really well.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and see how today's.
Okay.
The bottle and bond for, as you may know or may not know, for Old Foresters, the 1897 is their bottle and bond offering. Of course, it's 4 years old and 100 proof. So, and we believe it should be about the same mash bill and probably about the same age, but it's just it was made like 70 years later. So, we already talked about the comparison of the color, that this was a little more golden and the other one was a little more reddish.
Legs are pretty good.
This does have a more vibrant nose.
Now I have to laugh because I'm not getting a banana on this, and I got the banana on that one.
And I'm still getting the citrus on this. I'm still getting a little bit of lemon zest on it, but it's a little brighter. This was a little bit darker zestiness. This is a little bit brighter on the nose.
I'm getting traditional.
I'm getting
I always get the same stuff, baking spices and things like that.
brown sugar. I'm getting brown sugar on this one. Well, here's the 1897. Let's see how it's doing against this other one. Not that it was made in 1897. Cheers.
Cheers.
I do get a slight banana note on the taste on that one.
The one outside the bottle and bond, of course, the 100 proof. The one thing that is consistent, and I would never dreamt this, you hit it on the head with the first one. There's citrus in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I picked that up before when we have tasted Old Forester. And we've tasted a couple different ones.
It could just be the bottle and bond because all theirs are a little bit different. They have some different recipes that they use and different treatments and things. But I do think this is a great bottle and bond. If you're a bottle and bond fan or like 100 proof bourbons, I think Old Forester makes a really nice one. I can't remember what the cost is typically on their bottle and bond, so I don't want to misquote that. But I do think there's a lot of similarities. I mean, I can tell it is the same juice. It's just that this has the dusty funk.
Yes, I'm honestly very surprised.
This might be the most similar of a past and present we've done.
I would have to agree. You eliminate the dusty funk off of this. I'm gonna go back here.
I'm gonna do this. I mean, the nose is so dusty on this one. This one's just fresh, bright, light. This is a little deeper, darker. It's funky. make Wayne crazy when I go back and forth like this.
And I can't do it. But this is one. This wouldn't be for everybody. There's a lot of people that wouldn't appreciate the vintage stuff, and they'd probably maybe hold their nose up to it. But I'm going to tell you right now, for a 7-year-old bottle that was kind of laying on its side, that some of it leaked out, the fact that it tastes this good is shocking to me.
Well, and I was just getting ready to say that the similarities are crazy. They taste so similar, and again, we've done some comparisons, and the fact that they are so similar is just kind of blowing my mind a little bit. And look at that lovely legs that we have on the 1897.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite nice. So they both have a great viscosity. They both have that citrus pop, a little bit of banana, some caramel notes. Now, neither of them go to like some of their single barrels for Old Forester. I really love. It goes to the bananas Foster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting that level of sweetness on either of these,
Right.
But it's still got a little bit of the caramel note, and it's got the, that little hint of banana, but it's not overpowering for banana. And I'm still feeling like this is allspice for me on the current brand. Interesting.
It could be. I want to go back and forth one more time here before we close this out, because I would have to agree with what you said, that we've done a lot of comparison tastings. We've done Beam and several others, and this is probably the closest to where you. And this is the biggest gap that we've had.
Mm-hmm. This just shows you, in my mind, that Old Forester has not changed their process much through the years. They've been very consistent in their mash bill, very consistent in their yeast strain, very consistent in how they warehouse, everything about what they do. And we know that for a very long time, they had their own cooperage. So, they probably had a control over their trees and their barrel making more than some distillers have had. So I think that probably contributes to the similarity as well, because the barrel has a big difference to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think since they've been in the kind of the cooperage business for a long time, I don't know if it goes way back to this time, but they've always had really tight controls,
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
I will say this, and I did not expect this coming into this tasting. I was just excited to taste this and have people that like history, bourbon history, watch this and listen. I have a new appreciation of Old Forester, and my wife knows I'm not a big Old Faux fan, but to taste both of these and pick up the fact that there's a consistency that has been 70 years with these two, and that really blows me away. If there's anybody out there that works for Old Forester or is a huge Old Forester fan, props to you, because you've kept a consistency that really surprises me.
As I was doing the comparison nose and taste again, it went through my head that they're so similar. It's almost like a mom and daughter or a dad and child, or son, right? Because you can tell it's the same family. The age and funk note might just be a few more wrinkles over here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little younger and a little more spry, right? And that's kind of the best way on that last tasting I just did that made me think they really aren't different. One has just been around a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't aged in the barrel longer necessarily. It's just that it's been hanging around and hanging around and hanging around, as you would say.
Yeah, hanging around. So, with all of that said, I'd really like to tip my hat to Old Forester. This is really good. And Brad, once again, thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to acquire a bottle like this, and to also give out a shout out to Revival Vintage Spirits up in Covington, Kentucky, from where we're at. If you have an opportunity to go there, it's a wonderful place to visit. You can taste vintage pours. They have a lot of different things, and they always have stuff coming in new every day.
And they also have a bar downstairs. I mean, upstairs you do the vintage tastings, but downstairs in the bar, you can get a regular cocktail, or they will make you a cocktail with vintage spirits, which is pretty cool.
Yep. So I'm going to lift the vintage one up.
Yep.
Cheers to all of you out there. Old Forester, both of them are really great bottles, and you have done a great job with your legacy. Brad, Shannon, the gang at Revival, thank you so much for doing what you do. If you like what we do, hit the subscribe button, and always remember to drink responsibly. Have a great day. Cheers.
Cheers to sipping on history.
Sipping on history.